As we're going through National Wellness Month, I also want to talk to you about different aromas that will help you with resting and relaxation. So we have 5 aromas that will help you. The first one is peppermint. And peppermint helps with concentration. Everyone knows that peppermint cures, everyone should know that peppermint helps with bad breath. If you don't, I'm telling you today, it helps. But it also helps invigorate your mind. It boosts your energy, it stimulates concentration, and promotes clear thinking. So you can use it in a liquid form with an infuser, burning candles. Some people actually even just take. I know people that take it like in a liquid form and just put a little near their temples and just sniff, inhale it, and it helps them as well. And that also even helps with headaches. Peppermint is good for, like I said, concentration and clearing your mind. So we can mark that down. And I just feel like I need to reiterate that it's also good for freshening up that breath. Because some of y'all are in places where y'all are talking all the time and wearing those masks, and you might just want to get you a little bubble gum. Okay. Right. The next one is rosemary. Rosemary helps to energize you. Trying to do something outside of coffee, use rosemary. Try sniffing rosemary. This will help with the great morning pick me up. Now, rosemary is an herb, so you know it's you'll be walking around holding your herbs in the morning, but it's different than your coffee addiction. So trade out one thing for the other. But it's healthier for you. It also stimulates with mental and physical fatigue and boosting your memory. So I know I probably need to give me some rosemary sniffing going on because my short-term memory and I are not the best of friends at the moment. It also helps with cognitive functions. Yeah, I need to go down to the health food store and give you some rosemaries. The next one is a big bag of it actually. Lavender. Lavender helps with relaxation.
Yeah.
And which I use a lot of lavender as far as candles and lavender oils, and it works like nobody's business. It helps with nervous tension, depression. That also helps with headaches. It helps with insomnia. You can use it in its oil form. You can use it in the natural form because it comes in stem form too. So how in the sprigs, you can just use the sprigs by your table, put sprigs on your bed, your pillowcases, lay them right on your forehead if you need them. I don't know how tired you are. But they do work. Lavender does work very well. The next one is jasmine for optimism. Jasmine is similar to lavender. This flower produces an aroma that is used to calm your nerves. It also provides powerful mood perks. I never thought about jasmine. I do use it in some of the fragrances, like perfumes that I wear, but I didn't think about it. But it is a booster when I think about it, and it helps with alertness, boosting for self-confidence, positivity, and strength. So it's more of a mood booster. So jasmine would probably be good to use in the morning. And then the last one is vanilla for contentment. Vanilla is my favorite. It's got a nice, sweet, sugary smell, but it's also one for calming your mood, leveling out your mood, and it's just good for calmness. So those are our 5 aromas and scents that you can use for wellness and relaxation for this month.
I remember when Khalil was little, I had the lavender body wash for him,
yeah.
and the shampoo, and the lotion. That stuff had me so sweet. Yeah, I don't know how well it worked for him, but it was working on me. These lights keep going off, man. I was just like, "Whoo!" I hope he's gonna be all right because I'm going to sleep.
It does work. It does work. So I wanted to share this with everybody before we get into the next segment because I think it's pretty cool. So we've been talking about how August is National Wellness Month and Happiness Happens Month, and we're going to go more into that today. But there's a few more things that are celebrated this month. So are you guys ready to know what some of those things are? Some of them are pretty cool, some of them are kind of funny. So it's also American Artist Appreciation Month, which we're going to observe later this month. That is for visual arts, painted arts, and things like that. It's also American Indian Heritage Month. It is Black Business Month. It is Bystander Awareness Month. It is Children's Eye Health and Safety Month. Have you gotten your children's eyes checked this month?
I know it. I need mine checked.
I know, right?
I can't speak for anybody
I'm
else.
mother's child. Let me get my eyes checked. I really do my eyesight. Never mind. It's Child Support Awareness Month. Now listen, Linda. Number one, you know if you owe child support, and you know if you are owed child support, and that's all we gonna say. So,
right, what you gonna say? What else do you need to be aware of?
I don't see where there needs to be a whole month of awareness devoted to this, but it is so. I know what it feels like to be owed a few coins. Let's see. It is Clear the Shelters Month, which we are going to address today. It is also Golf Month.
It's what now?
Golf Month. GOLL. Golf.
Exciting. Ooh, so many things with golf.
Michael is a golfer.
Congratulations.
Blessed Lord.
I just felt like I was going to take a nap right when you said golf, but I was like,
it's like I remember when the Golf Channel came out, I was like, seriously? We did a whole, like, really? A whole channel for it?
I don't know what else you can see with golf, but
okay. Although I am mean with some miniature golf, though. I'm a bad chick with some putt-putt golf.
Golf has always really frustrated me, so because it's like you just keep hitting the ball until it goes into the hole. I used to pick the ball up and put it in the hole. It's just too much.
Really. It is
that's not my sport.
It's like if you hit it too many times, but if you can't not enough times, I don't even understand the words they use. So I'm like, I don't.
And the thing about like with miniature golf, especially like the elaborate courses, and it's like they get more and more elaborate, and it's like these big dragons and alligators, and it's like all these hills and valleys. It's like, oh my gosh,
You just slowly in that little ball. Probably all that fanfare. Oh, what happened? Oh, you hit it again. Oh, okay.
And then people got the nerve to be getting attitude with you because you don't do it right. We are playing put.
Okay, look, we just paid $4 to get in here. Calm it down.
If I'm playing some sports, I need to be able to let out my aggression, and I want to have to stay calm and cool and do this little ball. I want to like. I want to be yelling. I'm trying to play no dang golf. No disrespect to these golf moves.
I you said all that. We're talking about to play golf, though. Much love to you.
You do your thing.
It's also National Catfish Month.
Oh, that sounds good.
I know I thought about that because I didn't know what I wanted for dinner tonight. That was the answer. But can you celebrate National Catfish Month by eating catfish? Is that sacrilegious? Okay.
Yeah, and okay, that do make sense.
It does sound good though. It is National Cowgirl Month. National Immunization Awareness Month. Are you caught up on all your shots?
Yeah.
Who, me? Yeah. Sure, let's just say, yeah.
Both of y'all have worked in daycares around children. You don't know if you caught up on all your shots.
Well, I was.
You plan to become nurses.
Right. Now I'm caught out. Like, nah.
It is psoriasis action. You know what? I think I am. But that TV shot, that ain't cool. That should be outlawed. That made me want to fight.
Hurt and pain and tingling and burning.
And they're like, it's gonna be up a little prick under your skin. No, it's not a little prick under my skin. That crap burned, and I wanted to fight somebody.
I almost want to do something to you.
It is Psoriasis Action Month. It is What Will Your Legacy Be Month. So this month you should be meditating on how will people remember you and how are you leaving your legacy. And lastly, it is Romance Awareness Month. When I first saw that, I was thinking, okay, we just had Valentine's Day. But it's really about thinking about it from a different standpoint. And it's to motivate couples, especially to think about, like, because we're always texting and calling each other, to like go back to like writing each other letters and communicating in a purer way, in a more connecting in a different way. And I think that's pretty cool. So thinking about actual romance and actually really connecting with each other and like going on dates that really make you think about spending time with each other. And so that's what's supposed to happen this month.
Yeah, because you can get caught up in your daily life, especially like if you have kids together, you know, you can get caught up. You can really get caught up in just having that reminder to focus on romance and not just the daily things. That's really important.
I'm a person that still sends cards, like buys cards and sends cards, because I think it's so easy to shoot somebody a text.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just nice to just get a card.
Mm-hmm.
And then lastly, the two last things is in this coming week, the 14th through the 20th, we will be observing National Resurrect the Romance Week. So to our followers, if you got somebody out there you just feel like you need to throw a little holler out to.
You said resurrect what?
Resurrect the romance. If something has been lingering on the back burner, resurrect the romance in the next 6 days, the 14th through the 20th. National Resurrect. It's National Resurrect the Romance Week.
We probably don't need to resurrect it.
Maybe it's just been simmering on the back burner.
Turn the eye off. Throw the pot out.
What was the first one? You said it's National Resurrect the Romance Week. What was the first one you said about romance?
That's it. The first one is this is Romance Awareness Month.
Okay.
But But for the 14th to the 20th is National Resurrected Romance Week. So if you had someone who's been, like I said, simmering in the cut in the back of your mind, you can like, let me just call so and so. I wouldn't do it, but
I
people
would
do
not.
it. I'm just saying, it's your week to do it. Shoot your shot.
Ooh, I'm busy that week. I'm so busy that week.
Angie's phone gonna be blowing
I'm
up.
so busy. I'm so no phone calls. I can't make any phone calls, text or nothing.
And
all that week.
lastly, the 14th to 20th is also feeding pets of the homeless week. And I think that's really cool. And that goes with what Angelique is about to share with us. So having said that, actually Chantalie is next. Chantalie is going to talk to us about finding your happiness.
Okay, so 1 second. Can y'all still see me or no?
Yeah.
That's a no. Well, I can see your picture, but not the video.
And it's a pretty picture though.
Gorgeous picture.
Okay. No worries. I just had to get to my documents. So 1 second. Okay, so the first thing. Oh, was I not? Can y'all hear me?
You said
Yes.
the first thing, and I ain't hear anything else.
I heard it say recording in progress. Like, oh, for real? Okay, so it's like I said, it's 4 things I want to talk about when it comes to discovering your happiness.
Mm-hmm.
And the first and main way to discover your happiness is to know who you are. No one can tell you what makes you happy, and you can't find what makes you happy in a book. Your teachers and coaches and mentors and ministers, they can't tell you what makes you happy.
Right.
Or what should make you happy, because that happens a lot. People say you should be happy with this, you should be happy with this should make you happy. Like being a mother should make you happy, being a wife should make you happy, cooking and cleaning should make you happy. But
Cooking and cleaning don't never make me happy. But anyway.
But nobody can tell you. It's a experience that you have to learn on your own. It's very personal and it's very unique. So the only way to know what makes you happy is to know yourself. And the only way to know yourself is to live your life.
Right.
Experience different things, reflect, be honest with yourself about how those experiences make you feel, and then course correct if you need to. And then what you do is like you just rinse and repeat, you keep living. But you have to learn from your experiences of what makes you happy and what doesn't make you happy. And you have to be honest with yourself, like I said. And so when it comes to knowing yourself, if anyone is I don't know if anyone's in the chat or not, but I want to ask you guys, what have you learned from just knowing yourself? What have you found makes you happy from just being honest with yourself about your life and yourself?
I know with me, I would say what I found what makes me happy is being able to just do things I want to do for myself, even if it's something small. It doesn't even have to be anything like major, like trips and shopping sprees. Just something small that's just for me. It just makes me feel happy. Just that's the small things, not even just a lot of people always do major things, and just small little things that I know make me happy. Doing those things, that's what I found I like to do.
Mm-hmm. Minister Leah?
It's the same thing for me. I think that I spent so many years being a mom, and I think I was in that same boat with people making me feel like that was supposed to have been the definition of my happiness, raising my children. And I enjoyed being a mother, don't get me wrong.
Right.
And just like, thinking about my daughter today and just so happy to have watched her grown up. But the other side of it is I'm so happy my kids are grown. I'm so happy. I'm an empty nester. And not from the standpoint of, gosh, I'm so glad my kids are at the house. I'm so happy to see them on this side of life.
Right.
But I gave so much of my life and time to my children, so much of my life and time to being a wife, so much of my life and time to ministry, so much of my life and time to work that I didn't even know who Leah was for like 20 years. I was who everybody else wanted me to be and who everybody else thought I was. So now at this point in my life, anything that it's little things that make me happy, just doing things for me, traveling, it's just time to myself, even if it's quiet time to myself, it's my time to myself. But now as an entrepreneur, it's time to invest in myself, create my business, create my career path, create my brand. It's me, it's my name. It's what I want. I remember in my first marriage, everything that I wanted to do, it was well, I don't think you should do that. This is what I see for you. This is what I think you should do. This is what from even down to the car I drove. This is the type of car I think you should drive. And I don't even know if, because we were so young, I look back on it and I think, I don't even know if he realized how much he did that, but it was with everything, how I dressed, everything. The only thing I was like, you don't get to speak on is like my aesthetic, my look. Because I was just like, no. But I had to fight for that. But so now the things that have me and my name mean everything to me because I feel like I earned that. And that's what makes me happy to see the things that have stepped my name on it. So even when I think about being in a new relationship, a new path, it's still, this is mine and this makes me happy. And this is what I've cultivated, So those are the things that make me happy, the things that I've worked for. And so, I think that's it. Just and even just the discovery of myself has made me happy.
And I want to talk about that a little later on down because that's really important. But yeah, knowing myself, what makes me happy is like Angie said, it's the little things. It's little things. The first thing coming to my head is what makes me happy is seeing my kids happy. What makes me happy is being able to clean up the house when nobody is awake, when listen to what I want to listen to, without worrying without trying to always wonder, what is this? Can the kids listen to this? Can the kids hear it? But cleaning up in silence when I know nobody's gonna bother me, that I love that.
That is a good feeling.
What makes me happy is a good movie, a good book. It's just it's a small thing. Being able to do things for my family financially. It's really small things, but whatever makes you happy, no matter how big it is or how big you think it is or how small you think it is, just be honest with yourself and make sure that you're doing it on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
So like I mentioned last week, I am a Vedic astrologer. And if you want to know who you are in astrology, you can look at your first house, and that's going to help you know yourself. And your first house is the first house in your birth chart. And it'll tell you so much about yourself. And you can go to, I like AstroSeek. That's where I go. You can go there, put in your birthday, your birth time, your birthplace. It's really easy. And then you can just see what's in your first house, do a little research, and look at the planet. Look at the zodiac sign that's in your first house. Look at the planet that rules the sign in your first house. Look at any planets that might be there. And look at the house that look at, I want to make sure I'm explaining it so it's clear, but you want to look at the house that the sign, your first house, that's the sign of, anyway, I'll use this as an example. I have Sagittarius in my first house.
Mm-hmm.
Sagittarius is the 9th zodiac sign. So if I want to know my purpose for being here, I need to look at my 9th house because Sagittarius rules that house.
Right.
Right. So for you, Minister Leah, I know you have Taurus in your second house, in your first house. So you would look at your second house to understand more about yourself. And Angie, you have Scorpio in your first house, so you would look at your 8th house because Scorpio rules the 8th house. So that's a little bit of information on how to know yourself more. Okay, so the next thing is to know, because sometimes we feel like we're not in control of this, but we are. Well, the second thing is to know that you are in control of your happiness. And it's important to know that it's nobody else's responsibility to make you happy. So I think that sometimes we can get into a trap, especially if we're in relationships, and we can think, well, this person isn't making me happy. They're not doing what they're supposed to do because I'm not happy, Now, I can understand if you're unhappy in your relationship, like it's the relationship that's making you unhappy. I can understand that. But if you're unhappy, just, and you're looking at this other person like, I'm unhappy, why isn't this person doing something to make me happy? Then that is a toxic mindset. Okay? And that's putting too much of a load on the other person. Male or female, it's putting too much of a load on the other person, okay? Because going back to the first house, you're supposed to know yourself. You're supposed to know what makes you happy and what doesn't make you happy. Once you notice that something isn't making you happy, it's up to you to make the change that you need to make to get into a place of happiness or joy. So how are you going to stay in control of your happiness? And when you start to feel unhappy, what do you do? Is Minister Leah back?
Yeah.
What do you feel like you do to stay in control of your happiness?
I've had to learn to really practice calming and coping mechanisms. I used to really spin out of control really bad. And I was really bad at giving people the power over my happiness. Mm-hmm. So now, I think I'm just, I don't lose control of it very often. Yeah. I think I'm really, which is what I'm going to talk about in my staying stable in control of my happiness, is it takes a lot for me to not be happy. Mm-hmm. It's just, but the times when I'm not, I go to a quiet place, and usually music helps to center me and get me calm, to bring me back. Music has been my coping mechanism for years. Music has saved a lot of people's lives.
Yeah.
I think it's music, and sometimes it's white noise. Sometimes it's just listening to rain. And of course, I shouldn't say of course, because I don't happen for most people, but everybody, but prayer for sure. But yeah. Music for me a lot. Music, candle, like I talked about candles, but candles really is a calming, coping mechanism for me.
Is it watching them or smelling them?
Both. And I have candles in my room almost all the time. It's very soothing for me, And when I was driving, I don't drive now because of some health reasons. I used to love to go for a drive. I could drive for hours, just listen to music and drive and clear my head.
I wonder if that has something to do with your sun being in Aries, like in candles, because Aries is a fire sign.
I am a fire.
And Angie, what do you feel like you do to stay in control of your happiness?
Especially the older I got, I really learned that I'm in control of my environment, and I know a lot of people always, not a lot of people always, but I know I've heard people my age even say stuff like, I can't, be on social media because this is too drama.
Right.
Drama. You have control of everything that you interact with on a regular basis.
Yes.
So I really just learned I control my environment. So in the literal sense of I don't get involved with stuff that I know is going to be stressful or drama that I don't need to engage in. I don't even deal with it. I avoid stress without just not dealing with things that might be uncomfortable. Without
Yeah.
because that's not healthy. Just be like,
trying to avoid all stress.
Yeah, no. Like some things are just going to be uncomfortable and you have to deal with it.
Right.
But if it's stuff that I know that I don't have to deal with, like just people that are the drama, I don't, if I don't have to deal with people like that, I don't deal with that in situations, things like that. I really just make sure I do stuff that keeps me and my stress level as low as possible on a regular basis. And if I feel myself getting stressed out, well, first of all, if I get too stressed out, I'm just going to go to sleep. It's just going to happen. I'm like, I need a nap. But if I feel that level of stress, I'll just take some time away and just, if it's putting on some headphones, if it's music, if it's whatever I need to do to calm myself down, I do that. Because it kind of just depends on what it is. Like sometimes it's writing something that is just, it really depends on what do I need at that moment.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Just being present and being aware in the now. That helps too.
Because I've even did it out loud to a person when I don't want to. Like I know I'm not gonna. I don't want to do that. I don't want to yell and argue. But I'm like, I've just said it, say it, and I'm like,
right. Just even though they're not there, just say it. So I don't know who you think you're talking to.
I have done that before. And then it's like, ooh, that's like, I need to get that over. It's really just what do I need in that moment or what is causing the stress in that moment. And sometimes I'm like, this is not even somebody to be stressed about. Let it go. So,
sounds like a lot of self-awareness.
It took time.
Yeah.
And now that I'm the age I am presently, it just took some time to get there because it wasn't always like that.
Yeah. What I do is I usually lean towards spirituality. Like if I feel like I'm unhappy and I'm like, okay, I'm feeling a little different, what's going on with me? So I'll look at what's going on in the sky to see what could be affecting me there. Or I'll read anything. I'll read colors, I'll read chakras, I'll read anything. I need to know what's going on with me. But I usually tend to just like you said, I try to stay more aware. Like if I am noticing I'm not happy, then that's when I kind of tune more into myself so I can see what's going on with me. So if I'm not looking at my astrology chart or meditating or whatever, I'm just more aware because I know the answer is going to come when I need it as to what's making me unhappy and what I need to change. So just like you were talking about, I just be more aware and I know the answer's going to come. Usually while I'm walking, in the morning when I do my walks, it's like, oh, that's what's going on. And then also sometimes I feel like kind of new age type of thoughts and feelings of you're always supposed to be happy can kind of hinder your growth. And just knowing, okay, if I'm unhappy about something, then you might just need to allow yourself to be unhappy, not forever, but you might need to sit in those feelings and just be aware of the feelings that you're feeling, and don't lie to yourself and say, well, I'm supposed to be happy, so I'm just going to act like I'm happy, and then my feelings will like kind of come in alignment. So what I do is I allow myself at 24 hours max to just be unhappy if I'm unhappy. And at the end of those 20, is most of the time I don't even get to a whole 24 hours of being unhappy. But it's just letting myself acknowledge this is how I feel, and I'm going to feel this way until I feel some type of release or I get some type of clarity as to what's going on with me. And then I'll make the changes that I need. But acting like you're happy and just ignoring what your emotions are trying to tell you about yourself is very unhealthy.
Isn't that called toxic positivity?
It sounds like that's a good name for it, but
I think that when it's like you have the mindset of you have to be happy no matter what.
Right.
No matter what.
Yeah, it is toxic because it's not
toxic,
realistic.
Yeah. It's not. You're not happy. You're acting happy. So yeah, that's toxic positivity.
You're not doing anything to help yourself, and you know what you resist persists. So you will stay feeling that way until you address what's wrong. Huh? Oh, that's because you Scorpio rising. But what you resist persists. So if you keep ignoring something, it's not disappearing. It's still there.
Mm-hmm.
And what's going to happen is either you're going to explode one day, you're going to have a mental break one day, or you're going to manifest those issues that you're feeling in some type of disease or sickness.
And I've had all of the above.
Yeah. So you really do have to work on dealing, not even just letting it go, but dealing with whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Be honest with yourself and stop lying. Stop lying so you can be positive.
Yeah.
If you're honest with yourself in the moment, you can be more positive later. But you're not fooling. And you might fool other people, but you're not fooling yourself or that energy that's inside your body and your mind. You're not fooling that either.
Yeah.
When I first started going to my therapist, I think I was seeing her for maybe about 2 or 3 months. And she said to me, everything that you, that I ask you or anything that comes up, you always say, I'm okay.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, I don't even think you were aware that you say it all the time. Everything in your life. And so she told me to journal, like start keeping track of all my conversations. And I realized that I say it, or was saying it. I don't do it as much now, but I'm still working through it all the time. And she was just like, when did you convince yourself that you had to always be okay? And I had to go back to, as a teenager, that's how long I had been pretending that I had to always be okay, that I had to always be, like you're saying, always be happy. I had to always be good. I had to always be on. I had to always perform. I had to always be what other people thought I was supposed to be. And it took me until being into my 40s to just realize, like I say, it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to, sometimes it's just, you're just not good. Sometimes the situation just happened. And people don't get to control my emotions. People don't get to control how I respond to them.
Because it makes them uncomfortable.
As long as I ain't busting out the windows in your car or lighting stuff on fire, although that scene in Waiting to Exhale is extremely therapeutic for me, and it always will be. I just love to see her like that kind of, I don't know how to tell you how much that blesses my soul. It just blesses me. I realized though I had just been doing that, and it just, I think for me too, as I really started going through more complicated things in my life, I just felt like nobody will care if I tell them the truth. So it's easy for me to say I'm okay, and you can't do that either. But I didn't even realize how much I said it till now when I'm in her office. I'm never allowed to say I'm okay She just won't. It's a buzzword.
Okay. That's good. That's good.
And yes,
We
I'm admitting that I see a therapist.
I mean, she's a doctor. You know, she's a doctor wherever you go to. It's a doctor. Your mind, like I was saying last week, it's the control system. You know, your mind and your emotions are so important to always be monitoring, always be checking the health of your mind and your emotions. They control so much of your life, you know. And like some people, like abusive people, and I've even heard some men say this: if you have to do is get control, and that's it. You don't have to, that's all you gotta do. So, and that's true. People like cult leaders, all that stuff, all they need to know how to do is control your mind and your emotions, and they have all the control of you that they need. Now, so if you were in control of your mind and your emotions, you know, how much more fulfilling and whole would your life be?
It'd be so different. And I tell people that someone actually just asked me that recently. You know, we were talking about domestic abuse, and somebody was commenting on, I can't believe that person, that woman would let a man put their hands on her. And I hate that phrasing.
Yeah.
Because, and the person was saying it to me, not knowing my story. And so when I told them my story, it was even more like, I can't believe you. And I said, why are you picking out one woman from another? So why is one woman stronger than the next woman? Or why is any other group of women weaker than another group of women? And I said, all physical abuse starts with mental abuse. Any man that put his hands on a woman worked on her mind first.
Yeah, most I ain't gonna say all, but most men don't just jump to Z. Some are that crazy and do.
There are some that jump crazy because they being crazy.
Right.
Some do. I ain't say that's
but I would say a good 80% of them broke a woman's mind first.
That's how they
I absolutely know that was my situation. Yeah. And I remember a woman telling me years ago, and this is the absolute truth. And she said the first time that a man does anything, whether it's emotional, but especially physically hurting you, is the hardest because he doesn't know how you're going to respond. But if you take it, anything after that will be easier, because even if you fight back, he knows that he probably can breach you after that. So you have to know your boundaries from jump, and you're gonna have to stand by them.
Yeah, I can say, thankfully, I never got to the point in any relationship where it got physical, but because I have older sisters and people that care about me, it's easy for me to see red flags.
Yeah.
So I've talked to guys or dated guys that did try to mess with my mind, and I was like, no.
Who you talking
to? I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing. When you try to make me seem like it's something wrong with me about my reaction to something you did that's extremely inappropriate. Like, no, you know.
You shouldn't even see red flags. You should see pink flags.
Yeah. That's what I see. That's what I see. I see pastel pink flags. Like, no,
you should see the white flag.
No. So
I'm good. I surrender. I'll let this relationship go.
I'm out.
Wait, the white flag. So I'm in the white now.
I already know. I'm like, it's one thing if I connect to that man in other ways. I'm usually just dating men, so I don't need to make stuff work if I don't.
Right.
I don't need to be like,
make this dating experience work.
Yeah,
right.
I don't have to be like, I gotta do it for the kids, or we got house together, or no, bye. Like, I already see what you're doing.
Right. And again, that's why it's so important to know yourself. And I know women try to control men's minds and emotions.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And women will try to control your friends, your own friends.
Yeah. I've had that with female friendships, and actually, some of my female relationships were worse than men in some ways. Because women be acting.
Because you think you can trust them.
I had a female relationship, and I don't know if Mom is listening, but she said to me, this female was acting like she was my husband, and it would just be,
that's horrible.
She would just be, I called your house, you wasn't home, where was you at? And I'm like, excuse me, ma'am. My husband don't ask me that. I mean, and she would be like angry, and she saw me. I never forget. She saw me out, and I had dinner with another friend, and she saw me, and she acted like I was cheating on her. I mean, she was angry. And what made me feel bad was I felt guilty, and I was like explaining why I was with this other person, and we all went to church together.
You shouldn't have to do that.
And when I told Mom, she was like, you acting like this is your husband. She was like, when you gonna get divorced from her? Because y'all married. So when I would be in other relations, other friendships, I need to say so people don't think I'm saying I'm dating women. Let me clear this up. People say anything on social media. When I would be in other friendships and it would seem to be too close, Mom will always teach me, and she say, "Are you married to that person? You get a divorce?" Females get a
like that.
Quick. I think quicker than men do, and because women can get closer than men can. Because if a man is with you, he's just trying to date you. But a woman can be your friend in all different types of capacities and can get close to you in ways you don't even realize till it's almost too late. And then wait, what is this? You know. And then she close to you, she close to your friends, she close to your kids, she close to your family. Right. Like, whoa. And now that's an entanglement. Right. And you got to get up out from underneath that.
Yeah. I actually had a friend that, I had a couple friends try that, like the thing of, I'm an adult, you're an adult, we're all adults, we all have lives, businesses, responsibilities we have to do. And you called me, I didn't call you right back, or I missed it, or I did something else, and then you called me again and I answered the phone, and your first sentence is, I called you yesterday.
I don't like that.
Where you been? Where you been?
And like my response every time it happens, my response always, okay. I said, I'm on the phone, so I think you start talking.
You're right.
Right. I called you yesterday. I'm aware. I'm on the phone now. I was busy.
What do you want? What do you want then? Talk. What you want me to do? Apologize?
Yes.
Explain myself?
They want to be like, well, I couldn't get on the phone because I was doing this, and I'm not gonna do it. I don't owe you that.
No.
I don't owe you that. Cause I don't do that with you. You the dog. If I call you, you don't answer the phone. Okay. I'll try every time. Like, I don't even know my sister, so why would I just?
No.
Where were you?
I would think one of y'all lost your mind. You said that to me. I would be looking at the phone like, excuse me.
But that's a serious thing. Insecure people, male or female, can really put a hamper on your happiness because they're trying to make you responsible for it. Like I was saying, you can't make somebody else responsible for your happiness. Okay, you call somebody that didn't answer the phone. What is lacking so much in your life and that it bothers you so much that somebody didn't answer the phone? Don't you know sometimes you just cannot get to the phone?
Yeah, I've found those people are usually people who don't hardly have any other friends. You're usually their only friend. And that's the red flag I've learned in friendships. When people tell you, when people tell you you're my only friend or you're the only friend I don't want this friendship because you're already telling me I'm, like you just said, I'm about to be responsible for your happiness and I don't need that responsibility. Right. I'm gonna tell you now, I'm going to fail you.
And you ran everybody else away.
But even what you said about a friend, I feel that way because I'm still heavily in the dating scene. When I say heavily, I mean, hell is that I'm single. I don't
Right.
I want to talk to nobody. But but I'm saying I'm the one that's hardcore single right now. And
Mhm.
even it's a red flag. I have a lot of, and some people are like, well, you can't just right. So you gotta get to know a person. If a man tells me that I do not know, we are just getting to talk, and he says, I don't really, I'm gonna find a woman that'll be my everything. I just want to be
Oh
with
no,
her.
I don't need to be your
No,
everything.
I don't want to be your everything. I
Yeah.
want to have other things.
Yeah. I've been a
man.
man's everything, and
And
let
a
me
lot
tell you,
of
that is so
Those
suffocating.
are the women that end up going off the face of the earth.
a lot of women think that's so romantic.
It's
because
not.
of that. And it's like that's
It's
not romantic.
suffocating.
And you have to be his when you really think about it,
Everything.
if he's doing something emotional, that's on you. Financial,
Yes.
that's on you. He's sad, that's on you. He happy, that's on you. He mildly
Yes.
upset, that's on you. He's hungry, he's sleepy, he don't.
You gotta pet him. You gotta put him to bed. You gotta wake up with him. You
Right.
gotta eat with him.
Diaper,
You gotta make his bottles.
Really,
swaddling.
I put that up there.
You gotta rock him to sleep. You gotta take him. You gotta
I
put his
put that
one
up
thing
there
on
with
him.
guys
No.
that constantly say how unattractive they are. Like if I'm talking to you, obviously I find you attractive. So if every other, I know I don't look that good. I know I don't look that good.
Okay.
Okay, fine. Bye. Because I'm not
That,
gonna keep doing that.
that's insecurity right there, and that's
Yeah.
one.
And they want you to keep complimenting them. If you want to compliment, just ask me for one. But don't do that.
But if you need them all the time, that's a problem.
No.
It's a huge
I
problem.
don't
But those men who want you to be their everything, I've been with men like that, and that's so suffocating. And that's something that I have no desire to be in anymore. I can't. I
You
cannot
have
be
a life.
because
You're everything.
and there's no room left for you and your time and your emotions, because when you need something,
He needs you.
Yeah,
he may find you a little something, but as soon as he needs something, it's back to me.
I
Yeah.
need.
And they do it so much, they don't even know how much they do it. So when you call them on the carpet, it's just, and then I'm not doing that. Oh no, honey, you live that. That's who you are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think, and I hope, but it's important that anybody who you're with is self-aware, and
Yes.
that's intimate relationships
Yeah.
and friendships, male or female. And I don't like calling women female, but I mean men or women.
Yeah.
You say
the
romantic
people-
or any other relationship, it doesn't
Right.
Yeah.
Any
Yeah.
relationships, everybody needs to practice self-awareness.
Yeah.
That needs to be like a boundary or a rule that you have. People need to be self-aware, because they'll put your women friends, your male friends, the people who you're in intimate relationships, if they're not self-aware, then they can make it so that anything that they go through, anything that happens to them, especially if it's negative, they can make it your fault.
Oh, they will make it your fault.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely will. And that's what I'm saying. I can't. I can't be in situations like that. And you do have to be self-aware. You have to be self-aware enough to say, this is not what I want. This is not what I can put up with, or these are my boundaries.
Yeah.
And for me,
boundaries, that word is my best friend. The older I got, boundaries.
yeah, these are my boundaries, and they just can't be crossed. And when, especially for male or female, like you say, for any type of friendship relationship, when someone is wanting all of your time and all of that, number one, that's so selfish.
It is.
And it's just that you're expecting so much of me, and when someone is needing so much of you, it's just, I need someone who's good with their own space, because I'm good with mine. And
Yeah,
you should be
exactly.
good to not be able to talk to me a romantic relationship is one thing, especially depending on where you are. But you should be good to not need me every moment of every single day.
Right.
My
right.
own
So
children don't need me every moment of every
you're not
single day.
calling what's wrong with you. What's wrong with you? I'm not talking every day, minute of the day. No, I need to be with my thoughts, okay?
Okay.
Like, I know my personality. I'm not. People that know me know I'm not a phone person. Like being on the phone is too much. It's just too much sometimes. And I'm just not a phone person. So if you get to know me, you should be aware if I want to talk to you, I will. Sometimes I'd rather text than actually be on the phone talking to you because I just don't want to talk some days. Like, it's just, you need to learn that person. And like one of my closest friends, we joke all the time because we're like, we could go months without talking to each other and pop back up on Messenger or something and just go like we just were talking to each other yesterday. Because we both are like, you doing you, I'm doing me. We'll connect.
My very best friend, she and I don't even talk. We cannot talk, period. No communication for weeks, sometimes months, because we're very busy.
Yeah.
But when we talk, it's like we just talked 5 minutes ago. And I don't feel like when she's not talking to me, oh, I don't want to say her name publicly, but you all know who my best friend is. Yeah, but you know who my best friend is. But I don't feel like, oh, she's ignoring me or she has a new friend.
You got your own life and you know her and you know yourself.
Right.
Yeah. We're secure. Me and my friend, I'm not even saying gender. We're secure in our friendship to know we don't need to
how y'all move together.
Our friendship.
Right.
Basically, be like, we need to be on the phone every other week so we can reaffirm that we're friends.
Mm-hmm.
What? We're friends because we're friends. We're friends because we talk to each other. We're friends because we confide in each other. We're friends because we told each other stuff that we don't tell other people. That's why we're friends.
Thank you.
I don't need to talk to you every other day to be like, are we still friends though? Are we close? Like, you know how stressful. Like, really? Are you older? No, I cannot do that.
Right.
That's stressful and draining.
Well, especially if you're in an intimate relationship and you have a friend like that, it's like I feel like I got two men. Like I don't need.
Right.
Really, like, I can't be like, I know everybody do their own thing, but I'm not polyamorous, so I don't.
Okay.
I like being with one person.
Okay.
So I can't be and then I can be with who I'm with.
Okay. Too much.
We can't all be together.
Okay. All right, okay. Back on happiness. It all has to do with happiness. It does. But if you want to know how you handle dealing with unhappiness and you're interested in astrology, you can look at your fourth house, and that'll give you an idea about how and how content you can be when unhappiness kind of pops up. So I have Pisces in my fourth house. And so Pisces is the deepest parts of the ocean. And when we're talking about water, we're talking about emotion and we're talking about spirituality. So like I said, when I am feeling unhappy, I'm like, okay, what's going on with my emotions? And also, do I need to do some type of reading of some sort for my own self? Like what do I need to do spiritually? What do I need to do emotionally to get myself back on track? For some people, it might not be that,
Right.
So that's why it's still important to know what's going on with you. For some people, you might need to do something else. So let me see. Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Pisces. You can't have, so like if you have Aries in your fourth house, how you handle being unhappy, you might want to go work out. You might want to lift some weights. You might want to go running. You know what I'm saying? You might, Aries is very physical, very action oriented, so you might want to do something that has something with, being physical. You might want to work real hard for a long time doing something. But you want to understand what you do when you feel unhappy. You might not know what you do when you feel unhappy, you know, but all that comes under, like I said, knowing yourself. And you can try different things out. If you don't believe in astrology, that's fine, but you want to always know what you want to have a couple tools in your tool belt, you know, not just one, but a couple different things that you can do to understand. First of all, you want to be aware of when you feel unhappy, and when you do feel unhappy, you want to have some tools to understand why you're unhappy and to get happy again, or to feel joy again, you know. And so it can be a myriad of different things. You will not know those things unless you're honest with yourself and you live your life, you know. So look at your fourth house. What's going on in your fourth house? That can give you some understanding. And also going back to what I said, just knowing yourself. So moving to learn.
This is very interesting. I was kind of like, we're talking a little bit because this is very engaging. Like, this is,
Yeah.
it's very engaging. But moving on.
It's hard to be happy if you're not transforming, growing, and evolving. Because that's what we're here for. We're not here to not learn anything. We're not here to stay the same. We're here on this earth to learn and to grow, period. So if you're not learning and growing, it's very possible that you're not happy. So if you're holding on to the past, it's going to be really hard for you to be happy. If you're allowing your fears to keep you stuck instead of facing them, it's going to be really hard to be happy. If you're resisting change, it's going to be really hard to be happy. And if you're not getting underneath the surface of your personal emotional challenges, it's going to be really hard to be happy, you know? So when it comes to finding your happiness through transformation and evolving, what do y'all feel about that? How do y'all feel about that?
I think it's absolutely necessary. You have to.
Mm-hmm.
I think that for me, when I look at my life, I think that life, if you allow it, will cause you to evolve for sure. And I think transformation happens as you allow it and you're open to it, especially spiritually. But I've evolved many times in life as I've grown.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not the same person I was at 18, 19, 20. I'm just not that person. I'm not that woman at all, or that girl.
Right. And I was listening to Lori Harvey in an interview, and she was saying that before this relationship with Michael B. Jordan, she was engaged before that, and she was saying that she was really young, and that it was just too young for her. She was too young to get married. What was going on with her at that time? It's hard for her to answer those questions because I think she's 25 now or something like that.
Yeah.
25, something like that. And she was saying, I don't even know that girl.
Exactly.
And then I feel the same way when people ask you, what were you thinking? And you like, I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking because I'm not even dead anymore.
Exactly.
So that's why it's so important to always be changing and growing and evolving.
Yeah.
So, because if you're 25, 30, and you're still in the place you were when you were 18, what are you doing?
Nothing. Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. I remember when I was going through my divorce from my kid's father, and I was 20, going on 25. And that was one of his biggest complaints was you changed. And but I was just like, I was 17 when you met me, 16 going on 17 when he met me.
Right.
I was 18 when we got married. So for me, my whole thing was I'm supposed to be changing. I grew up, you know. Just number one, having children grows you up. I had 3 kids inside of 4 years, but I didn't feel like it was that I changed. It was just that I had been evolving and growing and maturing.
Mm-hmm.
But inside that mirror, I probably shouldn't keep talking about this because at some point he can hear it. But this is not conversations we definitely haven't had.
Well, that's part of your life. So
yeah, and that's why I said, and it's not conversations that he and I have not had face to face in 20 years.
You're not
God
giving
knows.
out names.
Well, plenty of people know who he is. But anyway,
I tried.
I'm not ashamed of that part of my life at all. But only one of us was growing is what I was gonna say. When only one of us was evolving and transforming in the marriage, and that's what the problem was. So like when you said if you're a certain age and I recently saw this person and I still saw the same person that I knew 26 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of sad to me.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm not the same person that he married in 1996.
I mean, what are you doing with your life if you're the same person you were? How many years ago was that? You know, so
26 years ago.
Like, how can you? Life is gonna put things in front of your face that causes you to change and grow and evolve. So
It's supposed to.
So if life is putting those things in your face and making it almost impossible to ignore those things, but you somehow managed with all your might to stay the exact same way, that's a problem. And you can't tell me that if you're not learning more about yourself and changing and evolving over after what you said, decades or whatever, that you're happy. Because that's not how we're manufactured to be as human beings.
No.
You can't tell me that you still think the same way, and you still act the same way, and you still are the same way that you were last
almost
year,
30 years ago.
10 years ago, 15 years ago.
No.
You're still you can't lie to me and tell me that you're happy.
I'm not the same person I was this time last year.
That's what I'm saying. Last year. Yeah. Last year. You can be the same year to year.
You definitely not gonna be the same decade to decade.
Now, if you're the same decade to decade, OMG, you just about to be.
You're stuck.
You are just about to be.
You're stunted. If you the same decade to decade, you just stunted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Arrested development.
Exactly. Because I can even think of myself, like the relationships I thought were okay when I was way in the world I would date people like that now.
Exactly.
Like when I just think back, it's like, what was you doing, girl? Like that's kind of how like I'm like talking myself like what? Why did you think that was okay? Why did you? What? It is really just you. I went through all that, then to get to myself to say you didn't know any better.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can't beat yourself up either.
At 17, 18, 19, well, my first ever boyfriend, I was what, 17? So I'm saying I can't. What did I have to compare it to? You know? And then at 17, 18, 19, grown. So I wasn't gonna listen to anybody. So, you know, it's looking back and being like, you know, that I live in a place that I never regret. I've had this answer, I'm like, I don't let myself regret anything.
No, it doesn't help.
Yeah, yeah. So you don't want to do you feel guilt and shame and regret that it will. And that'll keep you stuck. That's what I'm saying. You have to keep evolving. So even if you feel like you've grown, but you are hard on yourself about what you did in the past, that's still going to keep you from growing. And that's going to affect your happiness.
It will. It will. You all right?
Mm-hmm.
So dropping truth bombs all over the place.
And so if you are interested, if you're not interested in astrology, you want to make sure that you're constantly learning, because that's going to, especially learning about yourself, what's going on underneath the surface. That's going to bring you happiness. Anytime you can learn something new about yourself in any way that's the best for you, that's going to add to your happiness, especially if you act on it. You know.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are interested in astrology and you want to learn more about yourself, about how you personally transform, about how you personally elevate, then you want to look at your 8th house and see what's going on in your 8th house. This is the last thing.
Will it matter if they look at a Vedic or a Western chart, Chanceline?
I think that it's a whole lot of different types of astrology.
Yeah.
And I feel like if there's a lot of varieties of something, then you need to find out what works best for you. I love Vedic astrology, but I can't say if you look in your 8th house in Western astrology that it's not going to help you, because that's what works best for me.
Right.
And it's not just Vedic and Western, it's so many different types.
Yeah.
And you know, like I'm saying, you have to live your life. And you have to have experiences. And so you might find out, well, I like learning about myself through Vedic astrology. I like learning about myself through Western astrology.
Yeah.
Or any other type of astrology. You have to live and then kind of reflect, recalibrate, and keep going. You might find out you learn more about yourself through the Bible. You might find out you learn more about yourself through the Quran. You might find out you learn more about yourself just by coaching. What you have to live your life and find out what works best for you. I like Vedic astrology. And so that's what I would recommend, because that's what works for me. So if you are into astrology, just look at your 8th house. You can look at both. Now look at your 8th house in Western astrology, which would be the tropical zodiac, and then look at your 8th house in Vedic astrology, which is sidereal, and then kind of see which makes the most sense to you. But you always want to be outside of astrology. You always want to be evaluating where you've been, what you need to stop doing, what you need to start doing, and that's how you can allow transformation and elevation in your life. But you have to be aware to know that, though.
Yeah.
Self-awareness is, especially once, I can say for me, I don't like to do other people, for me, once I started really digging into self-awareness, it don't feel good at first.
Nope.
It does not feel good at first. But it's
sometimes you can feel like a bugaboo.
Really. But it's so helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you get past the stuff you don't want to see, I learned so much about myself on my likes and dislikes, what makes me, like, certain things. Like I didn't know for years that having to be what I call on and engaging with people in the world is so draining for me. How some people feed off of that. Like when I used to work outside the home, I was like, why am I so tired when I get back home? And I didn't know that's because it's me. I'm not like a whole nother personality. Like I don't, but it's a form of me that I have to be on for 10 hours a day and engage and be this version of myself that's not really me. So I'm like, I'm working on top of working because that's just not me naturally. So it's just, that self-awareness and learning more about yourself ain't nothing to play with. It's not nothing to ignore. So I just
Okay, I'm gonna need to take a break for a real fast second. You can talk amongst yourself. Topic is Jimmy Fallon. Go.
So how do you feel about Jimmy Fallon?
I prefer Fallon to Kimmel of the Jimmys.
Kimmel is not really that funny to me.
No, he's
And
not.
I didn't realize he was not that funny to me until COVID, until the penny hit,
Mhm.
and a lot of people went home, like those talk shows, people went to the house and stuff like that, and he did his show. Like I know he did his.
He was really, really not funny.
Jimmy Fallon did his. Conan O'Brien, like everybody went home. And he was like, I saw him. I didn't like him. But when I saw him, I was like, oh my god, he's really nice. He's just really nice.
And you realize how much
Conan
help
was
he got in the studio, didn't you?
Now Conan O'Brien was hilarious.
Yeah.
But Jimmy Fallon did. He, like,
Conan is a writer though. I think about Conan and Fallon, they're writers.
Yeah, because once Jimmy Fallon got the swing of things, he did way better because he had to kind of get
Yeah.
his flow.
And Conan and Fallon were writers on SNL. So
And
I mean they're comedic writers, period. But they wrote for SNL, so they're sketch writers. So I mean
and I know Conan.
I think the thing about Fallon was because he had so many components on the show, you had to figure out how to make it work at home. I think he was brilliant with using his whole family. Like that was
Yeah, that's what I'm
the
saying.
coolest.
Once he was like, oh, I need to do this.
Yeah.
That's what he had. And
Conan, I just think Conan has just been doing it so long. I didn't. Yeah.
Let me tell you. I love my top three. I love late night talk shows. Okay, my top three is first, Craig Ferguson.
I don't care for Craig.
Anyway,
All right,
Craig
everybody. We'll see
Ferguson.
y'all next week.
I mean, he's all right.
This might be the last show, y'all.
No, I'm gonna say
He's a good actor. I like his acting, comedic acting, but not late night. He's
I
all
don't
right.
know if I've ever seen his comedic acting.
I
You
know
have.
I saw some of his stand-up.
I like his stand-up, but I like Craig Ferguson, David Letterman, Conan O'Brien, Jimmy Fallon, and I think that's my top four.
To me, David Letterman is the king. Like
He is.
he's the to me he's the GOAT. Even over Carson, I take Letterman.
Well, yeah. I was watching a interview with what's his name? Oh,
Leno.
no, it was a black guy. A black guy who's been in comedy for a long time. I know his name too. I cannot think of it. But anyway, he was saying that Johnny Carson wouldn't allow a lot of black people. He had problems, even though he tried to make himself seem like he was he's a nice person. Like he was like Jimmy Fallon. Like I love everybody and everything. He had issues with black people and he had issues with women. And I know he had issues with women because of what Joan Rivers was saying about him. And
I almost said Joan Crawford, but that's I'm sorry. I was
That's
like,
you were a little too far back. Bring it back.
I was looking at Joan Crawford.
I know y'all know who this guy is. Anyway, it just don't bother me. But yeah, he was saying that he black comedians, they would get on the show and they would do their comedy routine, but the main thing that they want to do was be able to
Sit on the couch. Yeah,
Mhm.
he wouldn't hardly welcome them over.
He wouldn't let them get to the couch.
Yeah.
He said only the ones that was already strong in the game. If he was a new up and comer, no. But if
And
he
there
was
wasn't that many strong in the game because the game
Yeah,
wouldn't
but
let them out there.
It was mainly just Richard Pryor and Flip Wilson.
And eventually Bill Cosby.
And he had to let Eddie Murphy get on the couch because it would have been obvious that he was racist if he didn't because of how big he was.
Yeah.
But other people know. So yeah, I'm sorry. I'm back.
Yeah. But Letterman was welcoming everybody, and Letterman was everybody's friend. And when you watch what I always admired about Letterman was like he legitimately enjoyed he laughed, like he enjoyed everybody who was on there. He's like everybody's his friend. Letterman and James Corden style are similar to me. Like they get on there, like they just talking with you, like they just enjoying the conversation.
Uh-oh.
I love James Corden. I do.
Mom went back. She said the Doris Day Show.
I've seen the Doris Day Show.
And Sally Jesse Raphael. That's a top. That's a top show.
Wow. And the red glasses.
Mom went back.
The red glasses and the shoulder pad.
And I really like Sally Jesse. I always think about Sally Jesse Raphael because she kept it real.
Real.
From what I remember.
Well, Sally had to stand up against Phil Donahue.
Yeah. She kept it real. Like, oh, don't you think that your children is messed up because you messed up, ma'am?
The Mike Douglas show? I don't know that one.
Okay.
And Merv Griffin. Merv Griffin?
That's way back in the day. That was before colorized TV.
Really, the mother is going back.
He's so quick.
But
yeah,
I think what even when had been on for a long time, he had a segment in his show where he would play clips of Walker Texas Ranger out of context. And I watched the thing. I was in my room alone, like my eyes were screaming, crying, laughing, because I used to watch Walker Texas Ranger before I found out about the acting, a lot of stuff about him, and I was like, oh, no more Walker Texas Ranger. But he used that show when you take it out of context, it was like, what is he saying? Like, he would say something, I was just like, no, what? But like, that made me real, because like, he couldn't use them before, like when NBC merged with who he was with, he was playing them clips, and his timing, his reactions, like,
everything.
He could carry the show like a lot of the other late night talk shows. They couldn't carry, like Jimmy Kimmel couldn't carry a bucket of water.
No.
But Conan O'Brien, he didn't need anybody else when he had to go out during the pandemic. Like, he could just go home and do his thing and was still hilarious. Like, he's just good. And now he got a podcast, so he's still doing his thing.
Yeah.
Trevor Noah.
I'm trying to find this.
Trevor Noah, that's the other one. Yeah.
It took me a while to get with Trevor Noah a little bit because I was in protest on the Daily Show. But I do like Trevor Noah.
Yeah, it was hard to see. It was hard seeing John Lee.
Yeah. But I've watched the Daily Show, and then when I watched his stand-up, I said, okay, Prophet Trevor Noah, he's funny, he's good. I don't want to dismiss him just because I like Jon Stewart.
And while you're talking, we're going to transition to your portion of the show.
I have one more point. But Dick Cavett is a person I couldn't think of.
Oh wow. Okay.
He
wouldn't have been on the tip of your tongue.
No.
Yeah. Dick Cavett was a really good because I liked how he made everybody feel comfortable. I really like Dick Cavett. I didn't learn about him until maybe last year for real. But he was a really good late night host.
He was.
But let me get to the last thing I want to say, then we can move on. Well, we've been some type of everywhere.
I don't want to use the word I don't want to use the word move on. We'll just say transition. Move on makes it seem like transition.
Okay, transition. I didn't like Jimmy Kimmel, and I still don't kind of like him because of the work he did on the Man Show.
That's one of the reasons I don't like him, and some of the stuff he said when he had to do interviews for the cast, the female cast was lost, and some of the stuff he was saying, I'm just like, oh, he's a pig. Okay.
I just don't think he's funny.
He's not funny. Goodbye.
So, Shani, what is your point?
the last thing is, it's hard for some of us to be happy because we are not allowing ourselves to be free to be who we really are.
Right.
And we want to make sure that we're allowing ourselves the freedom to do what brings us to bring us happiness. And sometimes we can know, like we know who we are, we know what's going to bring us happiness, but it might be people in our lives that make us feel like we can't do, like we're not supposed to do the things that we know we need to do to bring us happiness. Like for instance, before I got married and I was just, talking to different people. And I'd be watching Seinfeld or I'd be watching Frasier, and they're like, or Friends, and like, I know you can watch something better than that. Like, what are you talking about? I like these shows. So them white people shows. If you don't leave me alone right now, I love Frasier. I love Frasier. I love Seinfeld. You know what I'm saying? I connect with those. Watching those shows brings me happiness. You can't tell me because I'm a black woman, I need to only watch Martin. I can only watch, certain shows.
Right.
Living
Because
single and yeah.
right. So we have to allow ourselves to have the freedom to do what gives us happiness. And a lot of times we don't do that because of society or the people who are around us, or because we're judging our own selves and allowing other people to judge us. So the question I'm asking now, and we can go through this pretty quick so we can get to the next phase. What have you noticed that you've had to kind of tell people or tell yourself, this is what brings me happiness, and I want to do this, and I don't care what you say, if you try to make me feel guilty, because a lot of times people try to make women or mothers or wives feel guilty for doing what brings them happiness, because they feel like you're supposed to only be focusing on what your husband needs from you, or what your husband thinks is acceptable, or what your kids needs from you, what your kids think is acceptable, or what your community, the Black community, to allowing Black people to be individuals and not just what society says we're supposed to be. So how have you had to allow yourself to have the freedom to do what brings you happy?
I think I've allowed myself to have the freedom to do what brings me happiness by really, I just had to take my voice back and to stand up for what matters to me. So I've been in those same scenarios that you've been in, with people just judging what I like. And, because I think maybe I'm a different type of Black woman. Some of the things that I like are not what we would call normalized. So from the type of music I like to the type of TV shows I like to, and even for me now, like today, like my hair is teal, normally it's purple. Even those type of things, just being questioned about anything, just how I look, how my makeup is. And that is a big thing with me. When it comes to like relationships, why you wear so much makeup? Why you have eyelashes? And why you gotta wear fake hair? And because I do.
And if you don't want that, you need to be honest with yourself and get what you want, bro.
So my thing was like, when I be on the dating apps, what the heck did you swipe on me for if it was changed? You looked at the picture, it's the same person that was in the picture. I don't have fake profiles. That type of stuff is so annoying. Because I feel like I shouldn't have to answer for that or defend that. I'm not 16, Oh gosh, I just had that song over my head. I am 16 going on.
Don't you sound music me, ma'am. Don't you sound music me.
Oh gosh, it was in my head. I was being some bitches now.
Don't you take me there. Maybe have to watch it again. You baby, I wasn't gonna watch it. I have to watch it.
I'm gonna have to watch it when we get done.
I'm gonna watch it.
But that type of stuff is just and that's not even, we tend to go to male female relationships, but women do it too, and it's always amazing when another woman questions me for being a woman, because I'm not questioning you for your dry face or your choice to not wear makeup or your ponytail that you just want to wear. I'm sorry, people gonna drag me all over social media for that. I'm sorry. Whatever your choice is, whatever your homeliness is that you want to embrace, embrace it.
You look like a ragamuffin. Come on now.
Honey, you do, yes. But I can tell you, because I think a lot of women assume I'm doing it for a man, and that's what irritates me. Because to know me is to know this has been me. In our household, you couldn't wear makeup till you were 16. And on my 16th birthday, I was wearing makeup. I was had a tear off calendar waiting to wear makeup. This has been me my whole life. I've been in heels since I was 11 years old. And this isn't me perpetrating for nobody else other than this is the way that Leah loves Leah. I'm performing for a man. Come on. And I've been in too many relationships. That would be exhausting. Men are too different. This is how I find peace and happiness within myself. And so that type of stuff. So to me, it was just deciding, finding the strength to just say no one gets to question who I am and what I am, and finding the strength to just be good with that. And for me, because for so many years I wouldn't talk, I wouldn't say anything if people questioned me, or I would explain so much. I would, I do this because, or I would apologize. That was apology queen. I'm sorry, or try to make people feel comfortable in my presence. And so the way that I've found my freedom is to not give people any of that and to just be me. So I will walk this purple hair, this beat down face into a place, listening to Pink and watching Frasier. And if that makes you uncomfortable, I guess you're uncomfortable.
You're not for me. And I'm not for you. And it's okay. That doesn't mean that you're a bad person or the other person is a bad person. But that's just, it's nothing wrong with just saying, okay, I'm this way and you're another way, and this is not going to work. You don't have to be hateful or mean or anything to just accept that fact and then move on from there. But I know when I told somebody that, I love Linkin Park. That's a rock group. Oh, well, you used to mess with white men, like.
Oh my gosh.
No.
But how does that one have to do with the other?
Right, especially when just mess with white girls. What? I can't listen to Linkin Park. Are you gonna try to shame me because you think I used to mess with white men when I didn't? When you made it clear that you mess with white girls? I mean, leave me alone. I leave Linkin Park. I tried so hard.
Spilling trees up in here, y'all. She's spilling teas up in here. Spilling tea.
Leave me alone.
What you just said. It doesn't even matter. Hello. Thank you, Linkin Park.
Thank you, Chester. Recipe.
Miss you.
Anyway, you want to find out. You want to make sure you understand what makes you happy when you are in what people call your private place, when you are alone. What makes you happy? I like to listen to music and be by myself and seem like I'm in a concert. That makes me happy.
I be in Carnegie Hall in the house. I shuts it down.
That makes me happy. And if you're interested in astrology, you want to look at your 12th house, because if you look at your 12th house, you understand what makes you feel liberated. You understand more of, you start to accept more of what you like to do when you're in private, what you like to do when you're by yourself, and just accept that. I have Scorpio in my 12th house, so that means that I like to get down to the root of things. I like to get down to the bottom of things, and I like to use spirituality to help me do that. And I can be researching if I don't have any clients to do any readings for. I'll read for myself, or I'll find somebody in my family to read for. But I love.
I would say you can read me anytime you want to, and I do not. You already know I want to read for you. Let's go. I don't care. Go ahead.
But I always like to get down to the bottom of things, and even if it's not spirituality, I'm doing my research to find out what's at the root of things, because that's who I am. I want to know what's at the root, what's underneath the surface, what's being hidden, what's a secret. How the government trying to lie to us. I like to know that stuff.
Not the government. Not the government.
The government. Not the government. The government. That's what be lying. The government be lying. But I like to know what's at the bottom of things. And so if you look at your 12th house, look at the zodiac sign that's in there, look at the planets that are in there, look at the planet that's ruling the sign that's in there, and just get in and see what you like to do when you're by yourself, when you're in private. Allow yourself that freedom, that liberation, to allow yourself to be happy, because we have, and I've never been a man before, so I can only speak as a woman. So as a woman, it's like almost, for some people, because I live in the South now. I wasn't born in the South, but I live in the South now. And I understand that as a woman, it's like, if you give yourself the freedom to be happy, then you are, even if you're not neglecting your husband and your kids, you're neglecting your husband and your kids. If you are, I think I'll just leave it right there. But it's really hard. And I'm not saying it's not hard for men. I'm not saying that at all. It's just that I'm a woman and I can't speak for men. It makes it really hard for you to, like I like listening to Beethoven, I like watching old black and white movies. And what I'm supposed to do as a woman in the South is, I'm supposed to I don't want to get into details, but I'm supposed to like things that I don't really like doing. And I accept that, and I allow myself the freedom to, and I've had a lot of struggles with this.
Me too.
With people who say, well, you're not supposed to do that. Well, how do you know I'm not supposed to do that?
That's Southern male mentality.
How do you know I'm not supposed to get into spirituality? How do you know I'm not supposed to understand what my chakras are?
Because
how do you know
I'm not supposed to? That's why they don't think you're supposed to. So
what makes my husband happy is supposed to make me happy. And if I accept him, my husband likes guns. My husband likes pets, dogs, big dogs.
Big dogs.
My husband likes cars. I have no interest in any of those things. But I allow him because I know in his heart he loves those things. Mm-hmm. And it's because who am I? say, I've known him since I was 15, you know? So who am I to say, because I don't like guns, you shouldn't like guns?
Right.
Because I don't like animals like that, you shouldn't like animals like that. Because I have no interest in cars, you know, flashy cars or whatever, you're not supposed to like that. Who am I to say that? You know?
Right.
So it would be wrong of me. I would
Take
be
his
really,
happiness away.
because it's if you know him, then you know that's what he loves. Period.
Oh, it don't take long to know that.
You said since you was 16, I was like 14 when I met him.
Right.
But
Right.
he's always been into that stuff. Like it hasn't like, we 10 years old. Like ever since I've known him, that has been what he's been into. And it is.
And
what it is.
also, I've always liked old movies, and I've always liked reading books and not talking that much, and being by myself and being able to reflect and getting as deep into his spirituality as I feel like I can, you know. And who was anybody else to tell me I shouldn't like those things, you know? So if my husband accepts those things and I accept those things, who are you to tell me that I should be a different way?
Right.
You know? So I allow myself to dig as deep into what I feel like I need to get into for my happiness. And I used to feel like, okay, well, these other people know more about marriage and being a mother than I do.
But they don't know more about your marriage.
Exactly. And that's what I had to learn. So these other women who are bitter and they hate their lives, you know, they say bitter, misery loves company, and it's true. So if you're a woman who has wasted your whole life on trying to be what everybody else thinks that you should be, and now you're bitter and you think that's what you're supposed to be because everybody else told you you're supposed to be like this and you're supposed to be like that, and you wasted your life trying to get to what they said you should be, you're going to want to do the same thing to other women. Right. And say, well, you're not supposed to do this, you're not supposed to do that. But if I decided this is who I am, if I discovered this is who I am, and my husband accepts that, and my children don't have no problem with it, you leave me all the way alone.
Okay.
Hello.
She said all the way.
You leave me all the way alone. You bitter mothers. Who am I talking about? What's that lady's name who was just in the news going to use Beyonce's song talking about You Can't Break My Soul after we just talked about her. We just talked about her.
What, Kim Burrell?
Yeah, Kim Burrell.
Nobody is taking Jonathan's dog's mama. The mother. She said, oh no, who's taking Jonathan's dog? Nobody takes Jonathan.
You know what? When I was little, who was the scariest people in the church? It wasn't the pastor, it wasn't the ushers.
Nope.
It was the mothers.
The mothers.
It was the mothers. They were the scariest people in life to me.
And a lot of
them,
yeah. The older I got, I realized this because they have a old mind, not age old, but an old mindset of what a woman should be. So it's like, for me, I know after I got past the teenage anger and the young adult anger, you ain't gonna tell me nothing. I had to, once I got to a certain old enough, I was maturity level. I was like, okay, they just don't know no better. Because their mindset of what a woman is what they were taught. Mm-hmm. So you can't be angry at them and attack them for trying to change you when they were changed. They might not have wanted that. But if all they were taught was a woman is this, a woman is that, then why would I'm not going to try to change them. You know, you gotta get to the point. You just gotta be like, okay, I accept you, mother. I love you, mother. But personally, I don't agree with you. But you go on with your life. And it's about, because my thing is always going to be, no matter in general, because of certain things, they got crazy, no. But I respect them because they went through stuff I didn't go through.
Heck yeah.
They dealt with stuff I haven't even encountered peripherally. Like, so
not even through the side eye.
So I can't say, I can't just say judge them 100% and be like they're this. They don't. When you talk, for me at least, I can say for my age. When I'm talking about mothers, I'm talking about people that are in their 70s, 80s, and 90s. Look at what they lived through. Why would I try to First of all, I have no right to try to correct them. Now, honestly, for me, now I'm being disrespectful because at this point, they've already lived life. They've experienced stuff that's just I have no concept of as a woman or a black woman. You know? So, like, my thing is always, like, once I got to a certain point, it was like, listen to them, hear what they're saying, respect them.
Yeah, always be respectful.
I don't have to agree with it. Because a lot of things I don't agree with what a woman is. But they do. And again, if you have a woman that's in the 80s and 90s, we don't have to agree.
Leave her alone.
I just have to quietly listen, let her say what she want to say, and we can go on about our business.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's basically what I wanted to say. And I was just saying, I don't know if I said it, but just make sure you look at your 12th house to find out, because in your 12th house, that's who you really are.
The 12th house, you said?
Yeah, your 12th house is who you are, who you really are. It's what you do in private, and it represents liberation. So if you want to understand more about your happiness, what's going to bring you happiness, how can you allow yourself how can you liberate your own self to live in your happiness, express your happiness, find your happiness, and experience some type of liberation from that, you want to look at your 12th house. And that's all I got.
Awesome.
Amazing. Like you was coming with all kind of stuff. And that's, for me, I can say that's why I was, because I'm just like, yes, like you came with good stuff.
I'm sorry, I've been sweating. That's why I had to
It's
go
okay.
ahead.
I can't find my sponge, but
My
I just have to
beauty
live with
blender.
seeing my horrible face.
The only place I can find privacy is in the bathroom and the top here. How do you want the beauty blender?
We're talking about the word happiness. This is Happiness Happens Month. And so one of the things I meant to do it earlier, but we'll do it at this halfway point. I don't have a lot to say today because Chantilly covered a lot I was going to say. So I won't say much after Angelique. But this is something I want us to be mindful of when we talk about happiness. I think a lot of times when we think about the word happiness, we just think about one mode, but there are 31 types of happiness. So for the rest of the month, I want us to use a happiness counter. For everybody listening, I want you to be mindful of all the different ways that happiness manifests in your life. There are 31 different ways that the word happiness, the emotion happiness, manifests in your life. It is amused, blessed, celebrate, cheerful, confident, content, creative, enthusiastic, fun, giving, grateful, helpful, honorable, humor, inspired, joyful, kind, love, motivated, nostalgic, optimistic, peaceful, playful, proud, relieved, respectful, satisfaction, social, spiritual, successful, and valued. All of those are ways that we receive, give, and accept, and receive and give and experience happiness. So throughout the rest of the month, this is our happiness counter, and I'll post those 31 ways on the page when we're done.
That'd be good.
But be mindful of all the different ways that happiness shows up in your life. It's not always just jumping up and down joy.
Yeah.
It comes in different ways.
That feeling appreciated. Did you say feeling appreciated, or did I make that up?
I think I said appreciate it.
Yeah, I thought you did.
A lot of them on here.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think that in if you're somebody who wants to give back, then making sure that you appreciate somebody, because you never know what people are going through.
Mm-hmm.
So just appreciating somebody for keeping the door, or holding the door open for you when you're walking through the door.
Yes.
Appreciating somebody for saying, for whatever, making sure that you're aware and that you always make sure you appreciate somebody for whatever they do, whether it's for you or not. Just appreciating other people can help other people with their happiness. So
Exactly.
yeah, I think that's good. I'm looking forward to looking at that post of all the other, cause yeah, I'm gonna be quiet. But yeah, we can we can't think of happiness as just one thing.
Yeah.
But it's more than that.
Yeah. All right, Angelique.
I got so many things to say about pets.
I know you had a lot to say about pets. That's your
I
thing.
wanted to answer Shantalee's question. I don't remember exactly how she phrased it. I know it has something to do with it has something to do with like how do you something with happiness and people judging you or telling you what's not or something. I can't remember how you phrased it. I can't remember how you phrased it. But
Was it the last thing?
The last question. But
are you allowing yourself the freedom to be happy?
It might have been something like that. But I will say, because honestly, a lot of the kids was stuff that it's funny because I know we didn't talk about in detail each other's topics today outside of what we're going to talk about. And so even when you were talking about you like Linkin Park and guys were saying, oh, you date white guys, and it's like me personally. I will date any guy that I'm attracted to. And I've had to deal with men, black men specifically, judging me for dating white guys. And it's like, why does me dating white guys have to do anything to do with me being a black woman, me appreciating black people, me appreciating black men?
Right.
Like my dad is a black man. I feel like that has one doesn't have to do with the other. So just you even bringing that up, I was like, what? But yeah, I've dealt with a lot of people saying I don't do black things. I don't, because I like quote unquote white shows, white whatever. So it's just like, I think it might have been my personality, whatever, but I never got too deep into it because I know a lot of people judge it, but I'm like, I think a lot of it because I was homeschooled, I didn't have to deal with other people. So I was always in a household that was like, watch what you want. Let's do what you want. So that, I never really had to deal with it too much. I had to interact with other people. And then they were telling me I wasn't listening to black music, which I'm just like, what is black music?
What is black music? What is white
right? So I was like, music does not have a color.
What is black movies or black, like, what is that? Like, what does that mean? Like even when you were like, you like Frasier, and like Frasier is hilarious. I like Friends. I like Frasier. I like a lot of shows that are quote unquote white. It is
right,
what it is.
white.
Like it is what it is. It's not me saying I don't like black media because I will watch black media. What I won't watch is bad media. So just because a black person did it, if it's bad, it's bad.
Yep.
It is that.
And for the record, do you know how many black shows Kelsey Grammer is executive producer for?
I know Girlfriends is one
It's
of
more
them.
than Girlfriends. It's more than
But I'm
Girlfriends.
saying
I forgot, but it's
Girlfriends
about
is
5 or 6 different shows.
And I just saw on Tubi, it's a show. I didn't even know that he had a show with Martin.
Oh, they are partners. That show is
Partners.
hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah.
My thing is, I like stuff that's funny to me and entertaining to me. I don't care if it's white, black, or other, as long as it's not racist or sexist. I don't care what it is. I don't go into like when you like that mindset of it has to be this. The mother said Mike and Molly. Hello, yes.
Oh
Wonderful show.
yeah, Mike and Molly. That's a good one. No one under.
Yup.
I love Melissa McCarthy so dang much.
I will watch anything she makes. I don't care if people say it's bad.
I don't care if it's a commercial.
If it, a lot of stuff people say was bad, I was like, I don't care. It's funny to me. It's good to me.
Okay, Thunder Force, The Kitchen.
The Kitchen was good. Who said they didn't like The Kitchen?
Uh-huh.
The Kitchen was good.
When I looked at the reviews for The Kitchen, everybody was. I kind of understand, but The Kitchen was good. Thunder Force was good. Tammy was good.
Did you see the
I
one with the bird? With the bird?
Was it Starling? Is that what it was?
Something like that, yeah.
I didn't see it all the way through, but I was.
That movie made me laugh, cry, and all the emotions. Whatever emotion exists, I felt it.
I love Melissa McCarthy. Melissa the McCarthy.
Darling, that I don't care what nobody said. Everybody will talk about the other movies that she didn't do good. Starling was amazing, and that I felt so many emotions in that movie. That movie, grief, sadness, happiness, everything.
She was saying that in her interviews that it involves all that, but I feel like we're getting off.
We are, but anyway, we are. But here I'm back. Okay, so I know Renee first talked about feeding pets of the homeless. Looking into this organization is, I don't want to get emotional about it, but it is the first and one of the few national nonprofits providing pet food and emergency veterinary care to pets that belong to homeless people. They also help veterans, like actual veterans.
Okay, that's good.
One of the things that evidence shows that animal companionship is fortifying and contributes to the emotional well-being of people experiencing homelessness, including encouraging owners to obtain sobriety, leave abusive relationships, and avoid incarceration. That's from the National Alliance in Homelessness. Let me see. They have helped homeless people and veterans. They have helped over 22,000 pets, over almost $3 million given in veteran care, veterinary pet food and traits. Over almost 2 million pounds of pet food collected and 217 donation sites nationwide. You can find a pet food donation site, make a donation, or become a volunteer if you go to their website, which I'll make sure I add on all of our social media and our YouTube page, so you all can definitely check into that. Another great company I checked into was about Clear the Shelters. And Clear the Shelters actually is NBC Universal partnered with shelters and is teaming up with hundreds of shelters across the country to host Clear the Shelters, a nationwide pet adoption drive in August 2022, so all of this month till the 31st, that helps find loving homes for animals in need. They found homes for more than 700,000 pets since 2015. Over 23,000 pets have been adopted in 2022. They have an app that if you're looking to adopt a pet, you can go ahead and go on the app and do that, as well as search on their site to find shelters that are around you. You can also donate to local shelters if you're not really looking for a pet. Like me personally, I would love a pet, but I can't get a pet, so I probably will donate. Um, if you don't want or can't have one for allergies or any other reason, you should definitely look into the adopting a pet, unless that's not what you want to do. Either way, just make sure you love the pet you get.
Oh.
That's me saying that. Whatever pet you get, adopted, bred, whatever, just make sure you do that. And then when it comes to emotional support animals, when I was looking into that, because there's a difference between emotional support animals and service animals. So a service animal is actually trained. So when you see people that are blind or in wheelchairs and they have the vest on them, those are service animals. Those are the animals you can't approach because they're actually considered working because they have to be able to be alert. They are
on the job.
So cute.
They're actually working. So when you see it,
So cute.
I know. But it's like when you see those are trained animals. A lot of them are trained as young. A lot of times it's dogs. I will say for service animals, it's they're trained to do certain things and be aware of certain things for the person they're going to be with. So when you see a service animal, 9 times out of I would say all service animals always have some kind of vest or something on them, so you know they're service animals and they're working at that time. Do not approach service animals. A lot of people don't realize that. And I know you see a cute doggy, but do not approach service animals. Let service animals be service animals and ask the person. If they say no, leave them alone and move on with your day. But emotional support animals, or ESAs, I probably call them ESAs interchangeable. They're for happiness. They're not the same thing as service animals. Service animals require special training that is approved for the ADA. And the ADA is Americans with Disabilities Act standards. So they're trained a certain way for service animals. But if it's just an emotional support animal, they don't require any specific training. They improve your emotional and mental well-being. They do not have to have special training, and there aren't restrictions on the breed or type of animals. So if you wanted to get a food, if that animal makes you feel better, and it's a goldfish, that's an emotional support animal. It doesn't have to be a certain thing for when if you're getting that. Emotional support animals, they enhance the brain's happy chemical, dopamine. That's how they help you with that. Cynthia K. Chandler wrote a book called Animal Assisted Therapy and Counseling, and she did a lot of research and what they do and how they help. And she said the positive social interaction with a pet. The benefits include calming and relaxing, lowering anxiety, alleviating loneliness, enhancing social engagement and interaction, normalizing heart rate and blood pressure, reducing pain. I know I've been around animals. I grew up with a severe allergy to animals, so I couldn't be around them as much as I wanted. But I always liked being around them when I could, unless I, was actively dying. So I laugh about it because that's kind
And
of
you had a few moments.
Well, you're scared.
Yeah.
I laugh about it now because it's kind of what it was. Like either I can be around an animal or I can suffocate and not. So, but now I'm older, I can kind of be around them a little bit more, engage my activity with them. But I know Renee has been around rabbits and going through cancer and stuff like that. She said the bunnies have helped her. So that because
until recently when I became allergic to them.
I understand.
But they still have help. They really have help, and I didn't even anticipate that.
But I know that even just with that, the fact that you said they help you classifies them as an emotional service animal.
Yeah. And they pick up on your emotions. Like I've
Yeah.
had days when I was down or came back from chemo, and because they're free range, they're free roaming, not free range. I'm sorry, that's chicken. They're free roaming.
That's chicken breast.
They're free roaming, and so they're out of their cages most of the time, and they'll just come and lay on my lap, and rabbits get very close to your face. They study you, and they'll come and look me in the eye, and then they'll just come lay on you. Like they really feel you, and they'll just know.
So I have to ask you. So, when you were going through any pain or depression or anything that's going through chemo or radiation or just you as a person, what did the rabbits do for you? Like what, even if anything, like you just petting them or just them being like, what did you get out of having the bunnies around you?
It really was very soothing. It really is like a person hugging you and comforting you. It really is. It was really like when my kids were really little and they would come get in the bed and hug you. It really is the same thing. And I've been around the rabbits where I've been crying. An animal, to me, how does an animal know your emotions? But they know, and they would just come get in the bed and just lay across my lap. And the first time I really saw one of the female rabbits do that, that was so amazing to me.
Wow.
And she just laid there for about like 30 minutes. She didn't move, and so they really do pick up on that, But I wanted to ask you, so the service animals wear a vest so we know that they're working, right? So if I wear a vest, then if I wear that, then people should know that I'm working and leave me alone.
No. Not at all, ma'am. Not at all.
I'm gonna give you a bunch of vests. You just be able to leave me alone the other way.
I know you're partially honestly asking and partially joking, but like service.
Sometimes people, especially when I be like at the airport, let me tell you something. Two things. When I just flew Tuesday. I'm a talkative person, and normally I don't mind talking to people, but the one place I really don't care to speak to at the airport, that is like my me time. Like seriously, we're all here traveling. Just go your direction, I'll go mine. And so that's the one time I need my AirPods to work. I just really, and people will see the AirPods in you and they still be like, can I talk to you for a minute? And it's like,
I put on headphones with no music on because I just was like, nope, I don't talk.
I worked in a department where I couldn't. And the other thing was, I was on the plane. This is no lie. There's two people that got on there with emotional support animals, and they barked at each other the whole time on the plane. I don't know if they were having a conversation, if they were checking each other's qualifications, credentials, if it was an issue between support animals or not. But it was very emotional for me. And I don't know if I would rather hear the dogs barking or a baby cry on the plane, but for 2 hours, it was a lot.
Now, I will say, and see, that's the thing. It's like, I'm all for ESA, emotional support animals, depending on what you do with your videos. But I feel if you have an ESA and not a service animal, then you need to train your ESA like you would train any other pet, because they need to be able to be well behaved in public.
And
because you have to take them wherever you need to take them.
Right.
I said because you need to be able to take them wherever you.
And that's my problem now, that just anybody can just have any animal and take them anywhere. Is that people just grab any animal and take it anywhere, and I've seen some stuff in public that I'm just like
if
okay.
If I were to get an ESA, I would train them like I would train any other pet, because they need to be able to function in society, because we are a society.
Because you have to be able to go where you need to go, and then your emotional support animals, and they need to be able to have. They need to have some home training so you can see.
They need to not stress everybody else out just because you comfortable.
People confuse the two between the service animal and ESA, and the service animal is trained almost from a puppy.
Right.
do certain things. So you don't get that type of issue with a service animal because they've been trained a certain way. But in ESA, you can get any animal can be an ESA, and I'll get into that. So I'm gonna keep going so I don't overtalk myself. But
Right.
but yeah, that issue is just that's a trainer issue. If you're hearing 2 dogs bark, that's a trainer issue. That's not an ESA. But there are several ways that an dog can help a person with anxiety, providing a calming and soothing presence, offering affection through cuddles. I love a good cuddle. I love a good doggy cuddle. I just really do. Ain't nothing like a good doggy cuddle.
I need dogs to get away from me.
And we're different people. And they can distract from anxious thoughts. Now, I'm going to move on, but I remember I saw a video that went viral some months ago. And a woman, I believe she was autistic or had some sort of sensory issue. And she started like smacking her head and like having a sensory overload type situation. And the dog kept pushing her hands down every time she did it.
I saw that. Yeah.
And like every time she tried to, he kept pushing her hands down. I'm saying it could have been she, but the dog kept pushing her hands down every time she did it. And I was like, that video made me cry because I just was like,
yeah,
that's what it is. Like I don't know if she had a service dog or an ESA, but that's a dog especially can attune to what your needs are and go from that. So, now she might have needed a service dog for help medical issues. I don't know, but at least the dog kept like stopping her from hurting herself.
Yeah,
like she was like having a melt, like a
I remember that went viral. I remember that.
An autistic meltdown down type of situation where the dog kept being like, no, kept, and I just was like, dogs are amazing.
yeah.
And how do emotional support animals help with stress? How do they? Let me tell you. An emotional support animal may be able to help alleviate some of the symptoms of stress just by petting. A furry animal has been shown to lower blood pressure, heart rates, and even release those feel-good hormones,
Dopamine. Woo woo.
Well, Shauna, your blood pressure should be bottomed out with all the dogs in your house.
So I know,
first of all, they outside.
No. Now they said a furry animal, so it doesn't mean a dog. It doesn't mean a dog. They just said a furry animal.
That's true.
So you having rabbits, Renee?
Mm-hmm.
If Shani wanted something that's not a dog, that's just something that they're saying, just something that you can pet. That's really just you focusing on calming yourself down.
Yeah.
And I know for you, because we have the bunnies. Shani don't like the dogs, so I can't go with her. But
I don't like animals at all.
But with you with the bunnies, have you noticed any type of things like those?
Mm-hmm. Petting them is very soothing.
Yeah.
And they love to be petted.
Yeah. And they said, what are the benefits of having just a pet? Not even an ESA, but just a pet. Pets, especially dogs and cats, can reduce stress, anxiety, and depression, ease loneliness, encourage exercise and playfulness, and even improve your cardiovascular health. Caring for an animal can help children grow up more secure and active. Pets also provide valuable companionship for older adults.
Yeah.
So I've always wanted pets. I know when I was young, they were like, no. Mom,
That was so kind of them.
they were so sweet.
So nice.
After I got, Mom was like, she doesn't really like animals, but
Well, animals love mom.
they love her. But because she's a nice person, that's what they're picking up on. That she doesn't hate animals. She just doesn't. She has a, they pick up on that she doesn't hate them. So they're like, hey. But it's like, I know.
Doesn't like to be jumped on, but when
No.
animals like you, they jump on you.
They
That's
do.
the problem.
So it's like I would definitely want an animal eventually. But definitely I know at first I used to want like a breed type animal, like anything. But now I'm like I'll probably adopt because I've looked at so many things and I don't want an animal that's like an animal that's in a no like that's in a kill shelter or like I'd rather just take an animal. You
Yeah.
know, unless you're trying to breed, like do a business, like Jonathan's trying to do. He wants to breed animals. If you're trying to breed animals, or honestly, if you just want an animal that's quote unquote brand spanking new, get what you want. Just love them. I probably will adopt when I finally get an animal because I don't want an animal in a shelter that's just risking being the nice way to say it is.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
So for our listeners, just a reminder that August is Clear the Shelters Month. So this is to adopt or take into your home that a good option versus going to a pet store or center versus buying an option is to go to a shelter, right? And
Yeah, I believe that's what she was
that's
saying.
what she's saying. Okay. Talk yourself all out. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A living being.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. So that is another way that we can wellness and our well-being for National Wellness Month. And I really don't have a lot to add. Shanta, we really covered everything that I was going to address. That's fine. That's what happens when you're sisters. And we didn't go over our notes with each other.
We're too into. Honestly, I'm glad we didn't go into notes because it was natural and we just.
No, but I enjoyed how Chantalie was very engaging. So, I will actually, the few things that I will go ahead and just post on the website. But I do want to just encourage you all on this, the impact of happiness. I just want to go over. It's important for us to have happiness in our life because it is such a positive emotion. And happiness is a choice. It's important for us to understand, if you didn't get anything from what Chantalie taught on and Angelique even talked to us about having faith, it is a choice. It's a choice to be happy. Being happy, if you didn't know, can add over 13 years to your life.
Wow.
So imagine people who are choosing to live in a negative space, what they are taking from their life.
Yeah.
Wow. 13
Positive.
years?
13 years.
Be happy, y'all.
Right now, Marvin McFerrin told y'all the 1988
Really?
happy.
Wow.
Oh, not Bobby McFerrin.
That was the song, y'all. Positive feelings increase our resilience. It makes you a stronger person. It helps you to endure. It helps you to go through things and get through things and manage your stress better. It helps you to bounce back from things better when you go through setbacks, when you go through trials. That just the choice to be happy and to handle life better. So that's the impact of the choice to be happy helps you to handle life and its challenges better. People have reported that having a positive state of well-being has helped them to engage in healthier behaviors, including changing their diets and exercise. It helps them have a more positive outlook on life. And I can attest to that. When you have a better outlook about yourself, you have a better outlook about how you handle your life and everything else in it. People who are happy get sick less often.
Yeah.
Your mental state is stronger and you also have a stronger immune system. So one of the other things I wanted to also impart to you is the importance of your spiritual life and our choice to be happy, right? So one of the biggest things that will help us in our happiness and our spiritual and our well-being is our strength spiritually. And Chantalise talked about ways that we can be happy and ways that she finds her happiness. And, we have different followers. So however you find your spirituality is how you find it. Mine is with my relationship with God and my walk with God. And I'm not here to judge. However you find your light in your path is how you get there. I just want you to find it. But I will tell you that some of the ways that will help you in your happiness and people have found is being accepting of other people. When you're a happy person, you become more accepting of other people. You're more socially engaged. You're more engaged in community support and resources. You're feeling more independent in life. You're feeling like life is closer to you and what you think is ideal in life. You just see life different and you see life better. You have more positive emotions than negative emotions. You embrace opportunities, more opportunities come to you. Do you ever see people that feel like nothing good ever happens to them? But I don't think it's that nothing good ever happens to them. I think it's how you see life.
Yeah.
Because I've been friends with some of those people and I feel like we're walking the same path. So how is it that we're living two different lives and we're walking the same path?
They're not looking at the good things that have happened. They're looking at everything that's wrong. So
Right.
if they take that step back and be like, okay, wait, this did happen. They're just in that negative mindset.
Exactly.
And people like that, you really can't help. You really can't help.
Right. No. And I personally don't even have the desire for it. I used to. I just don't anymore.
You got to get away from that. Help people that want to be helped, and the people that don't want to be helped. Move on.
Having a strong spiritual life will help you cope with stress. It will help with your mental health. It will help, obviously, with your spiritual life. It will help you with negative feelings. It will help you enhance your positive feelings. It will help you in reaching goals, setting goals. It will help you in dealing with stresses in general. And it just, and your social standing in the community, and it helps you strengthen yourself and grounding yourself in life. So one of the key components, obviously, is prayer. Prayer works for people, and people pray in different ways.
Yeah.
So we just encourage you to pray. Prayer is linked to better health, greater psychological well-being, less depression, less hypertension, less stress, even during difficult times, more positive feeling. Yeah.
Okay.
And it helps with the ability to handle stress, just praying. So I want you to do these things and thinking about your spiritual life and your choice to be happy. Pay attention to how you're feeling in your day-to-day.
Okay.
And how life is affecting you and how you're responding to life. Focus on others. Remember that happiness is not just about you and how you're responding to other people. It's not just about what you're getting, but what you're giving out. Open your heart, feeling of empathy, helping others is important. Meditate. Try spending 10 to 15 minutes a day each morning. Engage in some form of meditation. Practice gratitude. Be thankful. Starting with just your life. If you woke up this morning, you have a reason to be thankful.
Oh. Yeah.
And then start a gratitude journal. I've done this a couple times in my life, and just write throughout the day all the things that you're thankful for. You'll be amazed what you have by the end of the day, and the end of the week, and the end of the month. Try mindfulness. Be more mindful and more aware and appreciative of the present moment, not the moment you just had, and don't think about the next moment. Be mindful of the moment that you're in and embrace that.
Wow.
Live in the moment. We've stopped living in the moment, and that affects our joy and our happiness as well, because we become lost in our past and worried about our future.
Oh. No, she ain't preaching. She ain't preaching on the live stream.
Trying not to. I'm really trying not to.
You saying some good stuff, because there's a couple things I want to ask you. There's a couple things you said.
So if we can just do those things, it will help us with our choice. I really want us to remember this, our choice in being happy. Finally, I want to give you these 8 points in our happiness. Okay.
Are you going to put them on? Are you going to post them on our social?
7. I'm going to post them. It's 7. In cultivating your happiness. 7 points to cultivating your happiness. Pursue your goals. Don't just make them, pursue them. A lot of people talk about goals they never pursue. I know somebody. I don't want to say my relationship to them, because I say that it may trigger something, but you all know who the person is.
I don't want to tell
you know who the person is if I say it. Somebody that we know who's always talking about what they want to do, but they never do it. That is so frustrating. Enjoy the moment. Reframe your negative thoughts. When you have a negative thought, you need to reframe it, repurpose it, get out of the negative space and make it a positive thought. Cultivate strong relationships. Like we talked about this earlier with Chantalie, you should not be a person that you should not just have one friend.
Oh. Hello.
And you should not be the only person in your circle.
No. That's not
No, it's really not. That's not how circles work. Get regular exercise, even if that's just walking.
I say, that's definitely not a circle with one person.
Show gratitude. Again, show gratitude. And lastly, how to cultivate happiness is find your sense of purpose. When you know why you're here, you will find happiness.
That's it right there.
That's it.
It's so much of our purpose that's connected to our happiness. Our happiness is connected to our purpose. So much of it is just intertwined. Definitely.
It really is. Like it's nothing else you can say about it. Like it is. It just is. Once you get those two things together, you can work from there.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all I have for tonight, ladies.
This was an amazing one. We almost went 3 hours again, y'all. This is the second almost 3 hours. The first 3 hours we had was with
Mom and
the
Dad.
parents.
Yeah.
This one is, it is what it is. I think it was worth all the time we spent.
It was great being here with you all. I'm, of course, signing in from out of town.
Yeah.
So I'm not lit up like I normally am in the studio space at home. But
if y'all judge her, then I'm a
don't judge me, y'all.
Don't judge her. Only God can judge her.
I'm going to DM y'all privately and say something to y'all.
All right. Thank you all so much for joining in with us. We had a wonderful time with you all. This has been a great time. And I'm Leah.
I'm Shani.
And I'm Angelique.
Thank you for letting our family be your family. We look forward, I don't know, but she's always been different. Thank you for letting our family be your family. We look forward to seeing you next week.
Y'all later.
All right.
Bye.